Hello, we are back again. We are your hosts of the ABS show. You're watching Mina TV. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, people. And when you are done after the show, you can go on Instagram and follow us on the ABS show. Thank you once again for joining us. We're going to have a little chit chat today, and it's going to be real good. So grab your tea, grab your coffee, your drink, your wine, your popcorn, because we're about to dig right into it. So are you girls ready? Yeah. Timani, are you ready?
Born ready.
All right, awesome. So there's a growing trend, people, going on. So according to heartland.org, there is this growing trend of same-sex education system. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So my question to you guys is, should we have same-sex education or co-ed? What do you guys think?
Okay, so I'm speaking from experience. I went to secondary school, high school in Nigeria was an all-girls school. And right now I teach funny enough, in America, in an all-girls school. And I want to say that there is no, for me, when I was in secondary school, there was no, I wasn't trying to impress anybody. My mates already knew I was smart. Like, I used to sleep in class, because I didn't really, there was no challenge. I'm not trying, everybody that's trying to be first is my friend. I don't care. I'm not challenging anybody. As long as you know I'm smart and I'm just not into the material, like, who cares? But I realized that when I went to uni, that was like my first, after 6 years of only girls, when I went to uni, that that fine boy is going to think you're dumb. You have to sit up. There was that. And with the girls I teach now, they're just not into education. But oh goodness, when they see like boys, because it's in the building with other school, they see boys, they want to start talking about science that they're not paying attention in class, and it's like, oh, really? All of a sudden you know math? Okay, this is interesting. So I think having that, just that rivalry, that tension there would kind of push you to do better. And then in same-sex schools, it's just, I think for the experience, you get educated people. If it is good for education, you get educated people, but then social education is not there.
Can I ask you a question though? So you went to, or your educational background is all in Nigeria?
No,
or you went to school here as well?
I went to primary school in New York, then I went to secondary school and university. But I went to an American university in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Yeah, so it's an American university in Nigeria. Okay, because I asked you that because I went to school in Ghana. I went to Datus, shout out to Datus, and I also, went to high school here as well. I preferred here education, and the reason being is a lot of schools in Ghana treat everybody the same. They have to understand that we all learn differently. We all have different ways of learning. Because honestly, in Ghana.
You went to an all-boys school in Ghana?
No, it was mixed.
Okay.
It was mixed, but it was still in some ways separated, because the only time we see the opposite sex is when we are in the classroom. I went to a boarding school, but when we come back, everybody's like, separated. I say that because I was considered, I don't know if I was considered not too smart when I was in Ghana, right? But then when I came here, I started passing every test. I said, I was actually one of the good students. You know what I mean? I was on the dean's list and all of that.
That's because the American education system is not challenging.
No, it's not that. I don't think it's that. I think it is because they took their time to figure out how I learned best. I'm telling you,
but
the way they teach people in Ghana, it's like 1, 2, 3. It's like
the same in Nigeria. But I'm a graduate of a co-ed too, International High School. Shout out to IHS. I feel like the system of learning back home, Ghana, Nigeria, and everywhere, is harsh, but I like it. It kind of prepares you for the future.
It doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody.
It kind of makes you. It kind of makes. No, I know the question is co-ed. That's why I said I went to a co-ed school. I wanted to get to that. It kind of makes you ready for what's ahead of you. And when you become so competitive in a co-ed and you find yourself in the real world, you will discover that it feels like, okay, you've been doing too much, but it's good for you because it puts you ahead. Then also, the single-sex school, what is the goal? Because at the end of the day, you're still going to face the real world. And in your place of work,
it's going to be mixed.
There's no single-sex place of work.
Some of the great schools, schools in Ghana are actually single-sex schools. Infantipim, Infantiman, Accra Girls. The top notches where single. They were mixed. Yeah. So, that also got me thinking when I was researching for this topic, like, wow, all those single sex schools, they were really doing great academic-wise. And then here we go with the mixed schools. All we're doing is not paying attention. We are, like you said, we want to impress the girls that we like, the boys that we like, and not really focus on the books. So,
well,
I mean, it
that's
depends.
one side. There's always two sides of the coin. There's a side where you want to impress the opposite sex, looks and otherwise. There's also the side where you want to impress the opposite sex by showing them that you are intelligent, because it allows room for healthy competition.
Exactly.
In the sense that you want to top the class, you want to show them that the girls can do better than the boys, and it prepares you for the world out there. To me, I see no reason why you should be in a single-sex school if you don't want to become a priest or a reverend sister. Because at the end of the day, when you come out of that single-sex school, you are still facing the real world where you also have to coexist.
I think I've only gone to co-ed schools. Even in Ghana, I went to Faith Montessori, but Faith Montessori, it's co-ed. So I've only been to co-ed schools. I've never been to an all-girl or an all-boys school. However, my sister and my brother were both sent back to Ghana. My sister went to Wesley Girls, and my brother went to Franklin, which I think are like the two top schools in Ghana. What I will say, especially also having a son in a co-ed school, I do think that maybe at certain... First of all, it depends on the kid. Because as Charlie's saying, every child is different. Every child concentrates differently, learns differently. But I do think that maybe at a certain stage, if you do put your child in an all-girl or an all-boys school, it might be better just because they can maybe focus better, especially education-wise. Because I'm not going to lie, the girls at my son's school distract my son, and he's only 9 years old. Even I went on a school trip with them last week. 4 girls came to me. They wanted me to be their chaperone, and they were all telling me how they liked Caleb. One wanted my number. Like, they were all trying to impress me because they liked Caleb, and I was surprised. I said, "Wow!" So this is how much power women have over men. This is how early that it starts. They're in 3rd grade. There were 2 girls, they're best friends, and they both like Caleb. So they come up to me, "Yeah, I want to tell you something. Don't tell Caleb." I'm like, "Sure, your secret is safe with me." I start recording them for Snapchat, and they were saying this in my camera. They were like, "Yeah, we both like Caleb, but Caleb doesn't know that we like him." And I'm like, "Well, you guys are best friends, so how do you handle that?" "Oh, it's okay. We've been through this before. We went through this in 2nd grade."
So your point is that it reduces distraction. Yeah. So they should separate them.
I'm saying that at a certain point, it might be better at a certain point, because these girls should be in school learning. They shouldn't be in school running after my son, and my son shouldn't be stressed out coming home.
But that doesn't happen in all cases too,
But that's why I said.
But that's why I said
that can happen in a single sex school.
Yeah, the school where I teach right now is all girls, and they all have.
It's not sex related.
It's all girls, and they all have girlfriends, and that's
girlfriends. Like you're gay.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, so what we've noticed now is that it's a trend, because they see other girls expressing themselves there, and there's no boyfriend for them to have. All of a sudden, all the girls that you thought were not even interested say, "Yeah, I'm dating her," and it's like, okay. You grow up. You like, if it's what you want, you get to know. But for now, like, you have all these kids saying, "I'm dating," or "We're dating." They're like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Like, "I'm dating her. I have a girlfriend." So if there's going to be distraction, there's going to be distraction regardless.
Yazzie, I wanted to stress on your point about Caleb and distraction. Kids, there's a certain stage in their life where their curiosity is on a very high point, which is the age he is right now, between 6, 9, 10, 11. And I feel like preparing him on time and giving him that platform to be in that state where he can deal with things like distraction, competition, and everything is good for him, because you don't want a situation whereby he's done with the all-boys school, and when he gets to like 2021 and he gets to the college, he finds himself in a situation where he cannot control, because then his brain has already developed to that state, but he hasn't had the experience. Then he's not going to be able to cope with distraction. You know what I mean? So to me, like I always say, you have no reason to be in an all-girls school except you want to become a reverend sister. Because at the end of the day, you are still going to face the real world.
But how about you put them in a same-sex school and you can still have them in different activities that still have girls? For example, after school when he goes to basketball, or when he goes to swimming.
After school, what will stay happen? It's the same thing.
I'm just saying.
I
wish My mom, I was supposed to go back to Ghana to do Wesley Girls, and my sister had already was calling me and telling me what went on at Wesley Girls. So I told my mom, I was like, there's no way. I was like, yo, no, I'll kill myself. I'll run away. Like, I gave my mom every excuse in the book for me not to go back to Ghana, for me not to go to Wesley Girls. But it's a decision that I regret now. Because...
Wait, what went on in Wesley Girls?
What went on, yeah.
Oh, I mean, first of all, like, you would have a senior, like, you know, when you go, you get paired up with a senior. The senior mentally, you kind of become the senior's bitch.
They call it
I guess.
School mother.
It's like you have to do whatever the senior says.
That's everywhere, whether it's mixed or single. Or
well, I went to a mixed school. I never experienced that.
And I'm proud of it.
I never experienced that. Stuff like that, like the food wasn't so good. The food was laced with like flour and stuff. So like she always had to call home for them to like bring her like more food, you know, the beatings. I mean, I was growing up in New York City. I didn't want to go back to Ghana, like, to go to high school. I was like, what? Like, Ma, you crazy? But I regret that. Like, that's the reason why, as I told you guys, Caleb is going to Ghana starting this year. He's spending every summer going to school in Ghana. Just because I regret not having... It's co-ed. It's not all boys. It's co-ed, and he's doing like classes and stuff. But I regret that now because I see that it actually also forms a sisterhood. Like my sister and her friends that went to Wesley Girls 15, 20 years ago, like they still have like their Wesley Girls Association. Like it's a bond. Like you're living with these people, even though it's you know, because it's not school that they go to every day. It's like a boarding girls' school, and you really form a bond with them. At Wesley Girls, they also teach you how to be a lady, etiquette, like how to sit like a lady. You know, like all these fun, cool things.
Co-ed though. But what I just want to understand about co-ed and single-sex school also is their curriculum is the same, right?
Well, it depends.
Their curriculum is the same?
It depends, because it depends if it's like, well, I'll speak on America. I don't really know much about, I mean, I went to school in Ghana years ago, but in America, it depends because like my son goes to private school, but he goes to a Catholic co-ed private school, so it's mixed, and their curriculum is different from the New York City public schools, but it's also different from the New York City charter schools. It's not the same exact curriculum, so it would depend.
When they teach them subjects in like reproduction, subjects like sex education and every other thing, how does it work in the single-sex school? Like,
what do you mean, how does it work? They teach us the same way. They point at everything, show them the boys' zone, show them the girl. What do you mean, how does it work?
It's not like they're going to bring one.
I didn't
not like
boys.
That's what I was about to say.
That's not what I don't mean that they're going to
example.
say, Caleb, lay down, or yeah, Tonita, climb Caleb. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is, when they're kids, right, when they learn things in school, education and all that, especially in aspects of biology, it broadens their mind, and it makes them understand better because they have a female by them. They're not going to touch the female, but to an extent,
you're asking somebody to touch you.
But to an extent,
they go home and they see their mama's chochas and they understand.
But I need more.
That's the best way.
I'm not saying it's the best way, but
avoid. To me, you can't really avoid or separate them in totality, because apart from school, church, home, your neighbors, you always play with the other sex.
But back in the days, it was mostly all boys and all girls, right? Like all over the world.
It was only
in
the
general.
Catholic and some other, you know, like the religious that had the same sex or whatever, and then Muslim.
So since back in the day, it has always been, because I'll speak for New York City, and for New York City, like it does show that the Catholic schools do better than the public schools. I mean, that's been proven. Like, and most of, not all Catholic schools, but majority of the Catholic schools are single, all boys. You have St. Raymond, St. Catherine for girls. Like most of the Catholic schools, I'm just going to talk about New York, are just either all girls and all boys. And it does show that they do better. They do better in sports. They do better academically. So they're, you know, there might be a reason behind it. When it comes to that, it doesn't matter. They're going to be distracted or not. If you like girls, you like girls. And if you like boys, you like boys.
And if you're a boy and you like boys...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes you might not even like them naturally, but because it's what is in front of you every day, and you decide to try that new thing because of the kind of school you attend.
But that depends on the kid, because you say that right now.
It doesn't depend on the kid. It depends on what you see every day.
Yeah, but right now, that's what you see every day on TV, regardless. All the rappers are gay and lesbians. That's what you see on the reality shows. You're seeing it everywhere. So if these girls that are going to all-girls schools and these boys that are going to all-boys schools are being gay and being lesbians, it might not necessarily be because of the school. It just might be because that's the society we live in. That's what everybody's talking about. That's the end thing. It's the cool thing to do now.
My point is that being in an all-sex school can increase to a certain level trying such things as being gay or lesbians. That's my influence, my point, because it can influence you as a person, even though it's not what you are. But that's what you see.
But you do know that this is what my mom told me. And my mom is like 55 years old, went to all-girls school her whole life back in the day. She admitted to me that back in the day when they went to the boarding schools, the Wesley girls, the Infanta Pip, there were a lot of same-sex actions. Like everyone had a dear, your school mother, your school best friend. She said they were involved in, you know, they're girls. We're curious. We talk about this here all the time. Your chocha is going like this. Your nipples are going like that. Like they experience stuff together. But most of them, because they were not real lesbians, after high school, you forget about it. You get married and you move on. If you're a lesbian and it's exactly, you know, like I always say this, like a lot of people explore. You have relationships that, you know, they swing or whatever. There's a difference between liking to have sex with women sometimes and actually being a lesbian and wanting to marry a woman and wanting to have kids and build a family with a woman. So just because these kids are doing this, it's a phase. It's a teenage years. It's kind of like sometimes when people are young and do stuff with your cousins and stuff like that, like because they're opposite sex and they're around each other all the time. But you grow out of that phase and you grow older and you marry somebody of the opposite sex. If you grow older and you stay with the same sex, then you're just gay. That's just what you like.
So you're saying at that stage it's okay?
I'm not saying that it's okay, but I'm just saying that people go through different phases of life and that a lot of people, some of our parents, you know, some parents wouldn't admit to it and tell you, but a lot of our parents went through the same thing of what's going on now. But the difference now is it's everywhere. You know, now it's legal. Whereas in like back in the days, it was like a secret. It was a taboo. You were mentally ill. You know, now it's in our face. So maybe some people will realize, hey, it's okay and like it a little bit more. But I think that if you're gay, you're gay. And I think if you're gay, you're born gay.
Okay.
Well, I think there's more benefits for me with co-ed because that's what the school that I went to co-ed, and I think I had more benefits because of that. Now I know more about females and some of their point of view. I know how to act in social environments because I grew up with them. I went to school with them. I know, you know what I mean? I'm more familiar with it, you know. Compared to if I would have went to all men,
like I said, I went to an all-girls secondary school, and I don't think that there was anything different from me. Especially when I got to uni, I don't think I was unable to relate with boys any differently than people that went to co-ed secondary schools. Why? Because I think that's when it now falls on the parents to help balance it out. So I went to an all-girls school. My mommy put me in an all-girls school because she thought I was, you know.
But at what age?
So the parents should balance it when you're 21?
No, wait. Yeah. Let me make my point. So I went to an all-girls school. I wasn't seeing girls. I'm an only child. My cousins went to their own school. So not all the time I saw them. When I was 13, my mommy, her friends' kids, they were boys. She introduced me to them. She said, these are the boys that you can talk to. Make some friends that are boys, you know. I was surprised. When I was 16, my mommy said, go to the club. You need to be able to... Do you understand? She made sure that she... Do you understand? She made sure she pushed me out of my comfort zone because, of course, as being in an all-girls school, I was into my shell. I wasn't shy around guys.
And as the only child as well.
Do you understand? So she pushed me out there, made sure that she was balancing. So that's the thing. I feel like the same-sex schools, they have their advantages when it comes to education. For me, I went to one of the best secondary schools in Lagos, Vivian Fowler Memorial College for Girls. It was, it was top-notch. Everybody that came out from there were ladies because part of our curriculum, not just in the education, was teaching us how to be ladies. Do you understand? Teaching us how to be domesticators, teach us how to sit, how to behave in public, manners, etiquette, all of that.
But you could do all of those things for an after-school program, though.
But listen,
it doesn't have to be
schools. That's what I said earlier. But the co-ed schools don't teach you that. Maybe private schools in America will teach you etiquette, whether it's co-ed or mixed or not mixed. Maybe private schools will, but as a product of the public school system in America, I don't remember ever, and I went from 4th grade to 12th grade right here in America, and I don't remember ever being taught etiquette.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to come up with after-school programs where you can go.
Yes,
like,
I remember I went to an after-school. Yes, I went to an after-school program that showed you, but it didn't. It didn't. But that's why I'm saying that for me, as she said, they all do have disadvantages and advantages. But I think that if I had a choice, I would want to go to an all-girl or an all-boy, and I would want the same for my kid. But the thing that a lot of parents fail to realize is it's not just about school. School doesn't teach your kid everything. That's why I try to my son does everything. He does fencing, basketball, football. Like, you have to put your children out there to interact with different people, do different things. Like, you have to.
The thing is, at a certain age in their life, between that 3, 4, when they start going to school to 16 or whatever, the school takes majority of their hours in the day. It takes majority of their life. That's small 8 hours or whatever hour it is, like 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Yeah. That is a lot. That is what the next 24 hours of their life is. You understand? Both psychologically, emotionally, and every other thing. So whatever they learn from school is what comes into them. And I remember you said something in the beginning of this conversation about being in your comfort zone because you were topping your class and you didn't feel the need to do too much. But when you got into the uni, you found out like, wow, this is real. This is a real world. I have to do better. I have to be better. I have to prove myself. So I still believe that co-ed is the best.
All right, let us know in the comment, chime in the comment section. Do you think co-ed is better than single-sex education? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, you're watching Mina TV, and this is the AVS Show. Bye.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.